Why do smart, talented people who know exactly what to do still fail to execute consistently?
Hidden subconscious coding that runs our lives beneath our conscious awareness. Most people know what to do. If you're like sitting down with someone, and he's like, man, my health is just crap recently. You're like, what have you been doing? He's like, I smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, drink a half bottle of whiskey. And you're like, oh, what could you do to make the biggest impact in your health right now? And it's like, oh, just stop doing those things. But we have to get to the root of why people participate in those behaviors, which is like oftentimes we're numbing, we're trying to suppress, and we're not actually able to access our true essence. And so as a byproduct, we use other substances or habits or ways of being to make life tolerable in that process.
Really well said. So is it fear? Is it misalignment, a misconstrued identity? What's the driver of these sabotaging behaviors?
Those three things you just mentioned are all true. I really just view all emotion under two umbrellas. There's love and all the positive, empowering emotions of that, and that kind of pulls you forward, makes you want to take an empowered action. And there's fear, and the other side that has all the disempowering emotions, the guilt, the sadness, the shame, and it's going to hold you back. So yes, fear ultimately, and whatever your version of fear is, most people wouldn't admit to actually being afraid, but they might say, I'm concerned, or I'm dealing with some nerves, or I've got some anxiety about this. So yes, and yes.
Dude, I love what you just said. I kid you not, an hour ago, I'm listening to a podcast with Tony Robbins, and he's talking about motivation. He doesn't even like the word, but he describes motivation as two types. There's the push type, or then there's the pull, or the magnetic type. And what you said just embody that so well when you broke down love and fear. Love pulls you. It's a nudging, an alignment, an attraction. Where if you're fear driven, there's this push, this go, this do, which can create the friction, the resistance, and the burnout.
Yeah, I actually have one of my buddies is at my place right now because I'm trying a new YouTube video style where I'm going to like shoot coaching sessions and then just upload them and just kind of show the raw behind the scenes. And we were just exploring this for him because he's got this company that's growing, and it's like, okay, dude, like if you just do these things, like things look pretty good for you. So why aren't you doing them? And it is all a derivative of fear. For him, as an example, one of his early businesses, he sold for stock, and then COVID happened and the stock went from $16 a share to like 6 cents, literally just died. And so everything he built went to zero. So, if we go down the rabbit hole, what we uncovered is like, oh yeah, dude, why wouldn't you just do the low-hanging fruit in front of you to move your business forward? And it's because at the subconscious level, because of this traumatic experience with the previous business, he believed that even if he built something really successful, he would never get to enjoy the fruits of his labor. And that's just because that was his experience, his story. And so I think people can get confused, or like between the push-pull energy, the love, they're like, of course I want to go towards something I love or what feels good, but they don't really take into consideration like what are these, hidden programs based off your past experiences that are making you look at something, you're like, of course I want this, but then there's this deeper root to it that says, no, dude, it's not gonna be worth it. And so then you procrastinate, you're not consistent, you start, you stop, you don't get where you want to go.
I like the term psychological safety. And what I'm hearing is these programs ultimately create a lack of psychological safety, whether having more money, more success, more love. Am I on the same page?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, thinking about, oh, what if I achieve this and I lose it all? That feels a lot less safe than just not even trying. So you stay stuck. And so there's just different levels to this, right? I think we all know that like there's these invisible ceilings that appear, and like once you break through one, there's gonna be another. And that's like the infinite game of life, is to just be constantly identifying what is that invisible ceiling that's appearing right above you, and be like, all right, is this some derivative of fear, which feels like resistance, which feels like I can't, or I don't know how, I don't have the right connection, or I don't know enough. And really, there's just a story behind it. And once you are able to move through that story, the ceiling disappears.
I love that framework of just different levels of life. And you use the infinite game. I'm a big fan of that frame point, that view. We have to just always be learning, be growing, being willing to look within it. Like the journey, the game never stops. Yet, you and I also both know to get from one level to the next can be incredibly taxing, challenging, uncomfortable to say the least. So for that person listening who's had some success, but they feel maybe that success came at the expense of their well-being, their marriage, their relationship with key figures in their life, what do you say to that person to empower or inspire them to still keep doing the work on their journey upward?
I really want to bring that person back to their inspiration. It's not about like trying to achieve something grandiose because they saw someone else do it, or someone in their industry did something similar and they're like, that's what I should do next. Because that's a trap right there, because you might just be moving towards something. Again, Tony Robbins, right? What does he say? Success without fulfillment is ultimate failure. So you could become an industry leader, you can achieve something that you feel like is the next step for you on your journey, and you could get there and not enjoy it and not be fulfilled. And maybe you don't feel that inspiration because that's not really meant for you. It's not your path. So I'd tell that person, hey, come back into your body, come back into your heart, and I want you to realign with the inspiration. What's there right now? And maybe what's there is I've been pushing and grinding for so long and I need to empty my cup before I take the next step. Or maybe I've been grinding on my business and I have not taken care of my health and I have to put some attention there. So usually people want to like invest their energy into the areas of life that they're already successful in, because that is this, reaffirming cycle that you're in. You're like, oh, I'm good at this. Let's just keep going here, right? That's why a client, I'm sure you've experienced this, might come to me and say, all right, man, like I really need to take this next step in my business. And we do an intake and you're like, oh, dude, you're about to get divorced. Like, what's going to like bring you more net happiness and enjoyment in your life? Like making, $11 million next year instead of 10, or is it to repair your marriage and actually feel at peace in your home? So that's why the inspiration is so important. You have to identify, like, am I just taking the next step because it's what I think I should do, or is there actually heart-led inspiration here?
This hits home for me because I'm guilty, and I think a lot of people are, is as you climb into the next rung or level of success, you do more. I should be doing this. I need to be doing this. I have to be doing this. And like you said it from the get-go, even with that simple weight loss example, you didn't focus on, counting macros, exercising. It's what do you need to stop doing? Get less on your plate. And something, you've changed my life in many positive ways, but one profound thing you said to me, and I'm not going to get it exactly right, was when I was starting to clear my calendar, making more space. You could already tell my urge to want to fill that space with something else. And you challenged me, don't do anything extra. Just sit with that space. And that is probably part of the inception of this new direction in the podcast. But speak to that a little more, that constant need to want to add more and do more, when really the direction for next level success is doing less better.
Yeah, there really are these two types of people out there that I found. Is like, it's the people you have to like rein them back in, and there's the ones that you got to smack in the butt and get them going, right? And so people are going to seek out a podcast like this, or the people we need to rein back in. And those people have learned that success comes through consistent action, which makes sense. Yeah, of course it does. But they've also learned, maybe some of them, to disconnect from their emotions, from their body, from their actual inspiration, because things need to be done, tasks need to be completed, and they just have to get through those really intense periods of their life just to keep moving forward. And for those people, I'd say, okay, what if I told you you were right then, right? What if I acknowledged you for doing what you needed to do to get through that season? And maybe someone who's listening right now is like in one of those seasons. It's like, okay, cool, get through it. But in the circumstance of where you were at, Paul, was like, you kind of got through some of these more difficult seasons and you were in this space of a new expansion point. I think what we found was that expansion was going to come from a different resonance, a different emotional frequency and experience. We wanted it aligned with even more joy, more fun, more lightness, instead of, yeah, cool, like you can put your head down and grind and get things done and be successful. But it's just a different texture to the energy we want to expand in. So if we kept on trying to take action from that old energy, that old way of being, it would have created an attraction point for more of the same. Sure, maybe make the money, maybe have lots of clients, but how would you feel within the process of that? We wanted to bring in more joy, more expansion, and so we had to create the space for that.